My name is Isabelle, and I'm a crush addict. I can trace my first crush back to primary school. His name was Matthew, he had red hair, he was the son of a GP, and it was definitely not reciprocated. But what is a crush? The Oxford English Dictionary defines a crush as a brief but intense infatuation for someone, especially someone unattainable. I have definitely done some intense things for unattainable people. One of the weirdest things I ever did was create an online multiple choice questionnaire, which is a totally normal, casual way of finding out how someone feels about you, right? Me and this guy were emailing, and I wanted to find out where it was going. So I asked, you can't see that up there, but I asked, why are you such an email keynote? Helpfully, I wrote some answer options, like, I like you, but I'm old and I hate myself. Or, what, we're just emailing. Chill out, babes. Annoyingly, the crush in question answered, other. But we did have a relationship and we're friends now, so it does have a happy ending. Although I still maintain that he should have answered, I like you, but I'm old and I hate myself. With all these crushes and all the things I was doing, things like agonising over text messages, changing my bus route so I might bump into someone, or just classic baseline internet stalking, I wanted to stop doing this stuff, but I just couldn't help myself. I knew it was crazy. And it made me feel like, is there something wrong with me? And is there anyone else like me? So to find out, I made, obviously, an online questionnaire. I sent it out to see if I could get any responses from people, if there was anyone like me. And you know what? There was. There was loads of people engaging in bizarre, weird behaviour because of someone that they fancied. Let me first of all break down the life cycle of a crush. In all the responses I got, however a crush ended, it always started off as an intensely pleasurable distraction. This is the yellow zone. So you've noticed someone and you're like, oh, I like this person, they seem nice. Then we move on to the orange zone, which is a bona fide crush. It's still pleasant up to this point. Then we get to the red zone, where it's an obsessive crush. This is the bit I'm really interested in, and someone in my questionnaire said this kind of crush made them feel like an emotional beggar, which is horrible. The last part, the purple zone, is what I call dead to me. Now, dead to me is when the crush is gone, the spell is broken, and you don't feel anything for this person. Depending on how strong your crush is, reaching dead to me can take months or even years. I've been there. I've totally been there. Now, with this survey, I want to do a real life survey, now that I've broken down this life cycle of a crush. Put your hands up if you've had a crush. Amazing, amazing. This is so good. Now put your hands up if you've had a crush that was in the red zone, that was obsessive, you've done something weird, you're kind of embarrassed about your actions. I'm just going to let you slowly summon up the courage. Okay, amazing. You guys are my people. And the rest of you, I'm sure, are just sitting there like, what is wrong with you? Why don't you just get on with your lives? What's your problem? But it's not that simple, as I will show you later on. This tasteful-looking Scandinavian rug is actually a pie chart that shows how far crushes escalated for certain people. The yellow segment is mild, so they enjoyed thinking about them. The orange segment is strong, and then finally, the red segment is very strong. People who reported that their crushes were so strong, it prevented them from eating or sleeping. You'll notice the little blue dot. That was for anyone who thought they had a very mild crush. No one had a very mild crush. You don't get very mild crushes. Now let me share some of the amazing stories that came from my questionnaire. They were so eye-opening. There was a woman who developed a crush on a guy that she saw on her train to work. So when she became pregnant, she tried to hide her pregnancy from him. There was the woman who almost lost her job in a library because she deleted someone's overdue book fines, which is really serious. One of the stories that I love is a woman who had a boyfriend but developed an office crush and got into the habit of checking his LinkedIn profile every day. She carried on doing this every day for 3 months until she realised that every single time she had checked his profile, he had got a notification in his email inbox. Every time, 3 months. Another one, a woman who tells me she is grown up with an overdraft, aren't we all? She printed out some photos of her crush, cut her crush out of the photos, and then burnt the photos. Now, I don't know if she's burning the crush or the bits of photos or what, but it's some kind of like weird, witchy ritual. And what I realised reading all of these stories is that all of these people, and myself included, the more you try to control the course of a crush or your imaginary relationship with this person, the more you ended up giving up parts of yourself, like your time, your tastes, or like the last woman, how many fires you're setting off in a week. But it wasn't all just horrible and painful. It's like, it's not a Debbie Downer. There was also some really beautiful stories. One of my favourite stories was a woman who inherited an allotment. Now, she hates rhubarb, but she inherited this allotment and it had a rhubarb patch, and her crush loves rhubarb. So she nurtured what she called the stinky devil stalks and presented him with a bunch of rhubarb. Then, not only that, she took the leftover rhubarb, made it into a huge batch of jam, kept these pots of jam in her kitchen cupboard for a few months before, on her crush's birthday, presenting him with this very casual, innocuous, single pot of jam. This old thing. It's such dedication. I think it's something to really look up to and admire. Now, these stories are all entertaining, but I think they're really important. For the last few months, I'm at a party or I'm out with friends, and I want to show off. So I say, oh, you know what, I'm doing a TEDx talk, actually, yeah. And they go, oh, wow, that's amazing. What is it about? And I say, crushes. And their face just drops, and they do this weird, ah. And it's like a laugh, and they're like, oh, weird, why do you want to talk about that? And do you know why we do that? Everyone does that. Because we infantilise crushes. We say crushes are stupid. We say crushes are kid stuff. Or even worse, we say crushes are girly stuff. At this point, it's interesting to note that the majority of the people in my questionnaire were women. People who had strong obsessive crushes were all women. I'm a woman. I get strong crushes. Why is that? Shari Dworkin, who's a sociologist at the University of California, San Francisco, conducted a survey of women aged 18 to 24. She found that 25% of them had made the first move in a relationship. So these are young women who've grown up in supposedly sexually liberated times. Why are 75% of them not taking the initiative? Data journalist John Millward created a series of fake OkCupid profiles. After 4 months, he found that women received over 20 times more messages than men. I've tried online dating, and I know for a fact that most of those messages are going to be something along the lines of, hey beautiful, I like your smile, winky emoji face, like a real cut and paste job. So anyway, even on something as recent as the internet, we're still perpetuating these age-old stereotypes of like man as pursuer and woman as pursued. We're socialised from a young age to believe that expressing female desire is bad. Let that just sit there for a moment. Expressing female desire is bad. So I'm not saying that women can't be or aren't assertive, but think of the delicate dance we have to do to stay within those narrow societal boundaries of acceptability. Just like the Three Little Bears porridge, women have to make sure they're not too slutty, not too loud, but just right. At the beginning of this talk, I gave you the OED definition of a crush. But the first definition they list is a crush is to deform, pulverize, or force inwards by compressing forcefully. That sounds like all of my crushes. And this is exactly what is happening with female desire. Compressed, forced inwards, it becomes a crush. So instead of belittling these crushes or saying they're stupid or laughing at them, why don't we reclaim them as something wonderful and hugely powerful? Let's take this dark, horrible moment and kind of explode them into a series of fireworks. Crushes can be such a powerful motivator, making you change your life, or they can be such an amazing emotional crutch in times where your life is boring or sad. It's a great distraction. I'd like to leave you with a couple of thoughts. If you're learnt to expect to have a certain amount of agency in your life, then you will only ever be as proactive as you think you're allowed to be. So whether you're a confirmed crusher with pots of rhubarb jam waiting in the cupboard for that special day, or you've never had an obsessive crush in your life, I think we should all take a look inside of our dark corners, set some fireworks off, and see if we can smash up any invisible boundaries. Thank you.